Hey everybody, Double P here. So in today's video, what we're going to be going over is how to double your profitability taking short option trades with an intraday basis and coming out making 19%, making 30% on your option trades and then some. So what we're going to be going over today is we took two trades today and in very boring sectors. We took a trade in the oil and gas sector or the energy sector, very boring sector. But just because it's boring doesn't mean it's not profitable. So I'm going to show you, as you're looking at the screen right now, you're going to see the trades that we took on DVN Energy, and we also took a trade on Blink. So Blink is in the EV space. Yes, the EV space is kind of exciting, but it's also been up and down. So over the last little bit, it's been slumping because China's been cracking down on a lot of sectors. So it's been kind of pushing a lot of selling pressure in this particular space, but we still make money all the time. So let's kind of get into it so that you can understand and see what's going on. So the first rule of thumb, as you know, as we're always going to be looking at price action, volume, volatility, and we're going to make sure we have those three ingredients to be able to take a highly profitable trade. We're also going to be mapping out our support and resistance using price action. We're going to be looking at how to move in on a 5-minute chart to be able to take our setup, and then we're going to be looking at taking our profit and looking at our stop loss and making sure that we don't lose any money. So the first thing we're going to do by the way, got to get my disclaimer out of the way. I can't give you any financial advice or any investment advice or any legal advice or any taxation advice because I'm not certified or licensed. I'm not accredited with any regulatory agency to be able to show you stuff. So otherwise, I'm not a licensed stockbroker. I do this intraday momentum option scalping for myself and for hundreds of my members that are inside of my group, which is called the Platinum Traders Beta Testers Group. So just got to get my disclaimer out of the way. Trading options is extremely risky, highly speculative. So if you don't know what you're doing, you could lose pretty much all of your capital. So this channel is built for you to be able to watch what I do when I take real-time trades, and you can see how you can start to build out your own trading strategy, and you're able to start to make some decent income or good income depending on how much you study day in, day out. So let's get into the first one. So let's come over here and let's look at DVN Energy. And by the way, you see the time up here, September 22nd, 1:20 in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you that are looking, you see I got real-time data and I'm connected, real live account. I got to blur out my account here, obviously, because I don't want to violate the terms and services of my agreement with my brokerage. So it's all real time. There's no funny business going on, etc., etc., etc. So let's get into DVN Energy. So let's come over here. And like I said, we go look on, we can take this back to the 3-month daily chart so that you get a good foundation of what's going on. So as you can see right here, I'm using the Shande Momentum Oscillator, and I'm also using the MACD, and both my indicators have been sped up, so it's kind of like concurrent. They're kind of moving with the price action versus being lagging indicators and are behind the actual trend and behind the price action. You don't want to be trading like that. You want to either be with the price action or try to future pace and predict the price action, but you don't want to be lagging behind the price action because you're always going to be behind the trade. Okay, so we look here on the monthly basis. You see what's happening here. The Shande Momentum Oscillator, right at 12, and it's just starting to hook up. So the slope is starting to kick up. But on the MACD, you see here we had the divergence right here with the arrows pointing down. and we're going a little bit negative. We're still positive, but it looks like we're going to be going in for a bearish type of a trade. So you always look at not just one indicator, not two indicators, but you should have a suite of indicators, whatever they are, and you'd be able to have confirmation points. The only reason why we have different types of indicators is because we want different types of points, but we want to make sure we have confirmation on each and every one of those points, right? So 50% could say bearish, 50% could say bullish. Then if that happens, then we look at price action, we look at volume, we look at volatility, right? That's going to be the ultimate deciding factor as to whether or not we get into a trade and what our trade strategy basically is. So all this is just confirmation. You can see here I'm using the Keltner channels right here, and then with the Keltner channels, you see here that they've just opened up on both ends, on the lower band and on the upper band, and we're above the average right here. So the band is right here. So that's on the daily. So then we come down and we can look at the 5-day 1 hour chart. We're going to see another form of confirmation. So you see here with the MACD, we're at the top, we've sloped up. There's some now divergence once again with the leader and the lagger, and looks like we're supposed to be heading downwards. But when you look at the momentum oscillator, we're at the 38.36 mark, and we're sloping still on the upside, very bearish. And then you look at the Keltner channels exploded. We're on the upside right here. You can see that right there. So that's a different look. So we drop down intraday again, and we look at today, we look at the 5-minute chart. Because I look at the 5-minute chart to make my setups, then I move down to the 1-minute chart to be able to enter into my trades and then run with that trend. So we're looking at the 5-minute chart right here, and you see nothing but bullish momentum, right? So look at this staircase, parabolic move right here at the very beginning, and then you look at a little bit of consolidation right here, then it drops, then from right here it kicks back up again, and it moves back up into highs of the day, and currently as we're sitting, now we're in consolidation right here, and it's dropped a little bit. So when I'm looking at taking this particular trade, I'm looking at what's happening right down here. So I'm looking at this movement, and I'm looking at the indicator for the MACD. I'm looking at the convergence right here. It splits, it takes off, the histogram explodes. And then we have another movement right here. So we have the divergence, convergence right here. It goes right back up in bearish territory. So now we're moving up into bullish territory right here. You see that on the histogram, and you see that here with another confirmation with the Sunday momentum oscillator. But what's more important is you look at the entry right here, you look at this candle right here, the Thor, and then we look at that momentum run to the up to the upside. So when I entered this trade, let's go have a look at when I entered this trade. Let's go over here. When I sent this trade out, let's move this down over here so that you can see it. So I sent this trade out to my group approximately 9:53 a.m. today. Now, when I send everything out, you're going to see how concise, compact, to the point. Nothing is left out. So my group is called the Platinum Traders Group, so that you can see that there. So I tell them exactly the strategy. The strategy is a short scalp trade. I give you the exact option that I'm buying, the exact strike price. So I bought the open September 21st $30 strike call. I let my members know exactly what I'm paying for it. I'm paying 58 cents. That's the limit that I'm willing to pay for this particular call option. I give you the exact contract size that I'm looking at taking. I give you my exact profit percentage that I want to be taking with the option. This is not with the stock. This is with the option. I want 30% profit of the option, not 30% of the stock. This stock will never move 30% in one day. It won't even move 30% in 1 week. So this is where it confuses a lot of people. When you're doing options, when you're looking at profit, you want to be looking at profit on the option trade itself, not on the actual underlying or the stock. And then I tell them my stop loss is a tight minus 10% on the option trade. Right? So, and I tell my members, you can go either way. You can go with the whole dollar amount, or you can go with a percentage. Totally up to you how you look at your trades. So this is how I send out my trades to my groups each and every day that we trade in the live trading sessions. So there's no confusion. There's no conundrum. There's not, oh, I don't know when to get in, when to get out. I show my group everything, and all they got to do is place the trade. All right? So let's get out of that. So that was 9. Let me see that again there. I kind of lost my train of thought. That was at 9:53. So let's go over to the chart. And let's look where 9:53 is. Oh, I'm on 5 minute. Let me get down to the 1 minute chart. And let's move that back. Let's scale that back over here. So at 9:53, this is now when I enter and I take my trade. Now see, I mentioned here, I go on the 5 minute candle for looking at my setup and looking at my entry. And then I see my entry because, let me scale in so that you can see that. So at 9:53, just so that you can see this here, the precision. So we look at this right here. This is the beginning of this bullish run right up here. How do I know that? Well, because I look at how much the stock moved in a staircase type of a parabolic move. And a parabolic move doesn't necessarily have to be an incremental, gigantic parabolic move. It can just be a parabolic move where, depending on the price action, if it's 2 cents up to 10 cents, that's a parabolic move, right? So I look at this setup right here. I look at this candle right here. This is the beginning of the pressure for buyers to come in and for this stock to move up. So I count back 3 candles. From this candle right here, I count back 3 candles, 1, 2, 3, and possibly 4 to see a nice 4-bar play right here. And then I look at this candle right here to get in. This is going to be my entry point. That's at 9:53. And then I watch the momentum and I ride it all the way up. So you can see right here, let's continue to move this. So I move it for this entire movement, and I hit the highs, and once I hit the highs, I'm out of that position. So for me, that was basically let's go down to, let's just say let's go on a 30-minute chart. So for me, to make this move here at 9:53, let's just say around here, that was, let's see, 10, 10:30, 11, that was an hour and a half. Momentum, short, quick scalp trade, an hour and a half to get in and to get out of a position. Now you can see, well, how much did I make? Let me come over here and you can see Devon. You can see right here, that was a $350 profit in an hour and a half making the trade. And that was a plus 394% movement on that particular option chain for me. All right, so you can see here my members, if they would have took this trade, and a whole bunch of them did take this trade, they would have been making really good money, right? So let's get out of that one. And the next one we want to go over is we want to go over to BLNK. Now BLNK was a second stock that I looked at taking today. Again, it's the EV sector. So we know it's a little bit boring, but it's also very profitable. I like going into sectors where they've been beaten down a little bit, where there's a lot of selling pressure, because you know when a stock has been beaten down and there's selling pressure on it, you know all it takes is 1 or 2 reversal days for you to know to get in and make a little bit of profit and get out. Now, again, I'm an option day momentum scalper. So that means I'm in and out of the marketplace within a matter of minutes or up to an hour, 2 hours, and I'm out. I don't like to hold stocks positions overnight. I don't like to swing trade. I do swing trade and I do hold positions overnight, but my bread and butter that I teach and within my group is we're intraday momentum options scalpers, so that we're in and out of the marketplace. We want to be able to deploy our capital into the marketplace, take it back out once we've gotten our gain, and deploy it again when we see fit. Okay, so with this same one here, let me go over the price action here with you. So let's go over the price action. Let's drop this down into a 5-minute chart here for you so you can see the price action. So I mapped out all the support and resistance levels moving forward on DVN Energy. I mapped out the support and resistance levels. So let's come back over here to the open before I took my position. All right, 29.96, 30.06, 30.18, 30.50, 30.66. So my entry point was right here, $30.06. My stop out was 29.96. That's a very, very, very tight stop, right? Now, I stayed in this trend even though it broke through my stop position. Why did I do that? Because I explained this is what you want to see. Price action, volume, volatility. This is what you want to see. You want to see the Keltner channels are swinging and they move up. You want to see the MACD where it moves, and you want to see the Shonday momentum oscillator. So you want to look at this particular position and say to yourself, I'm in, right? And then I get that momentum ride all the way up. So the price action, always map out your support and resistance with a price versus just mapping out support and resistance. Map it out with a price action, so you kind of know, all right, I'm taking profit. I can take profit here. I can take profit here. And I can definitely take profit here. So as I'm moving up and scaling up into the trade, I can take profit on this particular price point, and I can take a profit on this particular price point, and I can take a profit on that particular price point as well. So that's how we do it at the Platinum Traders Club. So moving over here into BLNK. BLNK was the exact same strategy that we use moving over into BLNK. So let me come over here and I'll show you the BLNK text. Let me scroll right over here so you can see it. So this too was a short scalp trade. I bought the open the 24th September 21, $30 strike calls at 85 cents. I actually overpaid for this particular position to get into this particular position because of the volatility, because of the open contracts and the volume on this particular strike price for the open contract. I actually paid a little bit more premium to get into the position to be able to take this trade, which is okay. So sometimes you want to, if you want to get into a trade, you don't want to take a limit order. You want to make sure you want to get in there and pay a little bit more premium, pay actual market price, because you want to be able to set yourself up and be able to position yourself to be able to get into the trade. Versus, had I not taken this trade at market price and I take it at the bid, so what's going to happen is I could either sit there for another 10, 15, 20 minutes and my order is in working status, which means it's trying to find a seller for me wanting to buy at that particular price point, and I would have missed all that price action movement. So sometimes you have to look at what's going on and say to yourself, should I pay another 2 or 3 cents at market or above market to get myself into position if I know the stock is going to move? So that's a question that only you can answer for yourself. Today, I felt necessary for me to pay a little bit extra, a couple cents extra, to be able to get into the position, to be able to have a highly profitable trade, because like I said, I'm in and I'm out. I don't want to be in a trade too long, especially in this particular sector where there's squeezing pressure, where there's selling pressure. And, you know, it's over in China. I love China, don't get me wrong, but, you know, they're hammering down on a lot of different sectors. So at any particular point, the hammer could come down and the blink could drop 5% literally in an hour. So I don't want to be caught in a situation like that, or I don't want to be caught with my pants down trying to figure out what's going on. So with blink, it's the same thing. Let's go over the blink right here. Let's go over the text alert. 9:58, I was able to send out this text alert, which means I got in the trade at 9:58. So let's look at 9:58 here on, let's go on the 1 minute candle here so that you can see the setup and the strategy. So now this is the trade, 9:58. So right about here, this is when I say to myself, okay, now for those of you that are saying, wow, that was a pretty big drop. How come you didn't stop out? How come you didn't take your profit parameters? Well, I didn't take it because I'm looking at this level right here. And I'm looking at this level right here when it comes to price action. I'm looking at support. So if you want to come over here and let's go over to blink. Let's put blink on the main. Let's put blink on the main setup, on the main chart setup. And let's go back to the morning. So this will all make sense to you. So let's look at here. Let's look at this price action. It's pretty wicked. So 950, let's go to support. Let's go to support right. There's a support. There's resistance. There's support. So let's open this up so that you can see. So what I like to do is I like to look at support and resistance with price action. So I want to looking at cluster points. So I'm looking at a cluster of, well, what happened with this particular stock right here. So here's a cluster. Here's a cluster. Here's bottoming support. It's tapped it once, blew through it, tapped it again 3 times. Here's a cluster. Here's a cluster. Here's a cluster. So mapping all that out, I say to myself, okay, I'm going to hold this position at 953. So let's go over to 953 so that you can, oops, hopefully you can still see me there. 953. All right. So we're looking at entry points. Let's just make sure it was 953. Blank. Oh, sorry, 958. So let's come down to 958. All right. So here we go right here. People are asking, or you could ask, well, you should have got stopped out, or you should have actually got out of that position. I know what Blink does. I've been trading Blink enough over the last 2 years to look at their patterns and to understand their patterns and to know how they flow. So I did my monthly, I did my monthly daily. So I did my 3-month weekly, 3 month, then the 3-month daily, and then the 1 month daily, then dropped it down to intraday. So we did the 30-day 1 hour chart. Then we did the 5-day, 15-minute, and 5-day chart. Dropped down more into intraday trading once again to look for the 5-day setup. And then from the 5-day setup, get into the 1 minute entry point. So I knew how Blink always goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it takes off. Even though it's been in a little bit of a selling pressure for the last couple of days, their cycle, their patterns for this particular stock, it doesn't change. So at 958, we look at the entry point. We look at getting in right on this sell side candle right here. We look at following it down. It breaks, comes back up, breaks down again, breaks up, then pivots all the way up right around here. Then we look at breaking down again, and it breaks, it breaks, it breaks. So let's continue to move. It doesn't hit that point, it doesn't hit these 2 points again until right down here, but we're already in and out of the trade anyways, getting out right, I believe I got out at 1324, which would have been right around this area, right around here, getting out, right? So the bottom line with Blink and being able to look at taking these particular trades is knowing when to get in, knowing when to get out. So as you can see right here, let's go over to Blink. For me, Blink was a $450 profitable trade, right? And that was plus 15% on the option that's being moved. Now, this is when I sold, it was at 84 cents. So when I particularly sold this particular option, this probably hit roughly around 95, 96 cents, maybe even almost 99 cents before I exited my position to be able to get out, because it was like a plus 15% move in the option for me. So I hope you enjoyed this movement, this lesson, this strategy. You have to look at price action, you have to look at volatility, you have to look at volume. Look at the sectors. It doesn't matter if the sector is a great sector. It doesn't matter if the sector is a boring sector. Don't look at the news. The last thing that you want to look at is the news. If you're looking at the news to be able to place a trade or take a trade, then you're already behind the trade. You're already pretty much losing in that particular trade. So that's something that you don't want to do. The news is pretty much the last thing you look at. And then when you look at the news, it's 9 times out of 10, you're looking at the news when you're already out of the position, because that's what I do. I look at the news when I'm out of the position. I don't want to look at the news beforehand, because that's going to give me more of a subjective type of, oh, should I get into this trade? Should I not get into this trade? That's going to start playing with the psychology of the trading system, which is, we don't want to get into the psychology of the trading system. We want the trading system to be able to work for us, because that's a little bit of a quant type of a system. What we want to be able to do is we want to be able to make sure we follow our rule-based system to the best of our abilities, and we want to be able to exit on a profitable position. Now, what you also want to look at is follow the price action, follow the volatility, and follow the momentum. You have to be able to make that judgment call, and that comes with experience, knowing that should I go past my stop loss or should I exit the stop loss and then get into the trade again itself. You can do both. If you get stopped out, you can always look at another time and another position to be able to get back into the trade in that same time frame. So had I taken that stop loss, I would be looking at Blink once again and saying, okay, I want to be able to get into the position now. But for me, that just didn't make any sense, because now I'm putting more capital back into the trade. If I would have got stopped out, I would have lost that money. Then I'm saying getting back into the trade, now I got to put more capital. I got to put a bigger trade position on to be able to recuperate that previous loss. So this particular time, I just said, you know what? I'm going to stay in trade, because I understand how Blink moves. I understand how volatile it can be up and down within ranges, whether it be 1 minute, 5 minute ranges. It can move up and down literally 30, 40, 50 cents. So I understand that, because I've been trading it for a very long time. So I know how it operates. I know how stocks move. You have stock structure, you know how the stock structure is. So I decided to stay inside of the trend, and it paid off for me, because as per usual, the Blink moves a certain way. So with that being said, understand the psychology, the trading system. Psychology plays the second part of it, but the trading system is the first thing that you want to look at. Look at your rule-based system. Look at what's going on, price action, volume, volatility, to be able to look at and say to yourself, I'm going to stay in this trend and I'm going to work it. I'm going to work the trade so the trade turns profitable. Now, had it breached the absolute lowest point again, I would have been out of the trade and I would have took the loss for the day, because I wouldn't have got back into the trade again. But the gods, the trading gods, sometimes you have a little bit of good luck and then the gods are on your side and you're good to go. So BLNK still, it's looking around the $30 mark. It's hovering around there, right? So you see it's up, it's down, it's down, it's up. It actually hit a high. Let's see if it hit a high of $30.29. So BLNK hit a high of $30.29. And as you can see, at the time that we're cutting this video, we're literally, let's see here, we're 16 cents away from the high. So BLNK could close strong, it could hit the high, it could blow past the high, or it could just trade on a box all for the rest of the day. That's why you don't want to be in a position where you're trading in consolidation. You don't want to be in a consolidation phase. You want to be either on the momentum side to the bullish or momentum to the bearish side. You don't want to be caught in consolidation. So I was in and I was out about an hour and a half, $450. So total on the day was about $800 for less than 2 hours worth of work. I'll take it all day long, every day, every day. So with that being said, if you like the video, please like it, please smash it, share it with your friends. Like I said, this is free for you, live trading. Whenever I trade, it's going to be live trading for you. So you can learn the strategy before you execute on the strategy with real money. So that being said, my name is Peter Parks, double P. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.